Hey gang, Coach Lavoie here. In today's video analysis, we're going to take a look at the San Francisco Giants five-time All-Star Buster Posey. He's been in the league since playing full-time since 2010. He's an average-sized player, about 6'1", 215 pounds, and he's got very respectable power, especially for a catcher, and he's averaged about 21 home runs since coming into the league, like I said, back in 2010. So typically when I do these video analysis and these overviews, I do it from right across where the video is looking right across from the hitter, right across from their chest. This particular view, we're going to go a little bit further back, a little bit different of an angle, and I think it'll give you a different perspective and a better perspective on how the hands and the elbow and even the midsection and torso actually move in relation to the hips, okay? So before we get started, I want you to take a look at the stripe going down his back leg or his right leg. Okay, so I put a quick arrow there just so you can see the top of the stripe. The reason why I want you to focus on that, and I'm going to take the arrow, I'll leave the arrow there actually, I was going to take it away, but I'm going to leave it there. Because as he begins his stride, okay, and he starts to lift up his leg, and we're going to see this, he's got a nice controlled stride. He lifts his knee up, beginning to create that torque and momentum. Now all of a sudden, I haven't said anything, but where is the stripe gone? It's disappeared, right? So if I take it back a little bit, we're seeing the stripe down his leg. And the same could be said for the G. Okay, the G and the Giants too. Okay, you can see it start to turn as well as the stripe there. That's what we're talking about when we're saying we're getting leverage, we're creating torque. Okay, he's turning that belt buckle back. Okay, back towards the catcher, back towards the umpire, back towards the third base dugout. He's going to get a little bit of torque there at his waistline, at his midsection, in order to create that quick spin or quick snap of the hips in order to help drive the ball. Okay? And it's not only about driving the ball, it's about being able to turn his body to create leverage for his shoulders and his hands to come through and whip and hit the baseball. So next, he's at toe touch. So I went ahead and took the arrow away, and his front foot, it's toe touch there. And I want you to notice he's neutral. His body is in the center. So if I were to draw a line from top to bottom there, he is in a neutral position. He's not leaning too far one direction or the other. Okay? And that's exactly what we want at toe touch. Now, he's decided now, as he's continuing to move forward here, that he's going to swing at this pitch. And how you can notice that is that back knee. Watch that back knee start to come in. So I'm going to put just a little tiny green circle at the tip of his knee there. Watch his knee go outside of that circle. Okay, his knee's going outside of that circle first. Okay, his elbow's then going to begin to start to drop. Okay, now you can see the pinstripes again. You can see that it's not the pinstripe, but you can see the stripe down his leg. Okay, he's created that torque. His hips, his knee is initiating the swing, which are turning the hips. Okay, his back elbow is coming down. It's in a nice slotted position here. And you can see that the elbow at this point is pretty much in a direct line down those stripes. See how his elbow is meeting the bottom part of his knee there? So it's turning in conjunction here. Now I want you to notice also during this part of the swing that his hands, and I just drew a box here, don't come out of this box. See how his hands stay nice and tight and close to his body? That's because the lower half of his body, his knee and hips, are turning and rotating his shoulders. His hands really aren't moving at this point. His body is rotating. If his hands were moving, his hands would go outside of that box, which would create a casting motion, or the straight arm motion, okay? That straight arm syndrome is what I'd call it. Okay, but his hands are nice and tight, staying nice within that box. Now his hands are going to go outside of the box, starting right about here, and this is where the bottom half, when we talk about the bottom half, I'm talking about the knee and the hips have really done their part to create that torque and that turn speed, so that now we're going to whip the barrel using a snap of our hands. We've snapped our hip, okay? We've snapped our hip in rotation. Now we're snapping our hands in rotation to go after the ball, okay? And we're coming out of this box here, this tight little box, snapping our hands, and he's going to make contact. Now he's out in front of this ball, and he pulls it as a home run to left field, which is a very nice hit. Now what I want to call to your attention is well, let's continue to follow that line down his pant leg, okay, as the rotation process continues. Now he's turning, he's rotating, he's rotating, he's rotating. And as he comes all the way around, that pant leg, that line is nearly hidden. Okay, so if you recall where we started this, we could see that line going down his leg originally. If we go all the way back, let's go all the way back for a second. We could see it, and then during that, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back before he goes to leg lift, okay? We can see it. He begins the stride process. He turns to create that torque, okay? He keeps his hands nice and tight, snapping the wrist, creating that bat whip, okay? Going forward, okay? And that's from the momentum and the snap of his hips, okay? Now that line down his pants is going to disappear, or actually it's going to be hard to see from this angle. Okay, we can still kind of see a little bit of the coloration, but it's nearly gone, which is great rotation. And the other thing is, he's got such great rotation, you can see the numbers on his back if you were sitting down the first base dugout. And that's exactly what you want to be able to do from a finish post-contact swing perspective. Okay, two more things I want to call out about this is the weight transfer. Okay. Weight transfer that back leg, okay? You can see his back leg's off the ground. Weight is transferred fully to the front leg right there, okay? And as he finishes that swing, he can extend his arms there, and the bat's pointed upwards at an upward angle. We can't really see the trajectory of the bat as well from this angle as we could sideways, so it's really hard to see exactly how much tilt or lift, or, you know, when we talk about the launch angle of the ball, we can clearly see that this ball is lifted into the air from that perspective. We just can't really tell too much, you know, what the angle is, but his hands are definitely high. Chest level, his barrel's pointing up higher, and then he's going to turn this thing around and take it all the way to his back shoulder. Okay? So that'll do it for today. That's the quick overview of Buster Posey's swing. Hope you enjoyed it. I think the biggest takeaway that I wanted you to have off this swing is how his the rotation of his hips, how when we look at that line on his pants, how it disappears once he goes back and creates that torque. And we've talked about this in other videos. I've talked about this in other videos where his belt buckle kind of shifts from the center position back a little bit. That's number one. And then his hands staying in that box that I talked about there and not coming out of that box nice and tight close to his body until he snaps his wrists forward, creating that bat whip and driving the ball to left field. All right, gang, so I hope you enjoyed this overview of Buster Posey's swing from the San Francisco Giants, and hope everyone's doing well tonight. Take care, and good luck in your training.